Jay, relate an anecdote that demonstrates how you came to be involved in activities from one of the four areas of scholastic integrity, physical fitness, cultural awareness, or community service.
That's a good question. I've related that before because it's something that I'm extremely interested in. I'd always seen football games as something that are for attendance. This was my first 2 years of high school. You know, you'd go to a football game, you'd see the players in the field, and you'd maybe be a little bit envious, but that was just something that I'd really never thought of doing until the spring of my sophomore year. I'd played soccer for about 8 years, and I mentioned to Coach Umbehagen in passing just how it might be good for Ball High to have a place kicker. I noticed at some of the games that some extra points were missed, and the year before I started, the Westbrook game was lost because an extra point was missed. And so he said, sure, just come out sometime. And one day I was out for soccer practice, and I saw everyone in spring training. And spring training, as you may know, is maybe the most rigorous part of the whole year, and it's also the most overbearing on the coaches. I think you'll probably find more coaches in a bad mood at spring training than any other time of the year. So I walked onto the field with a soccer ball under my arm, and I approached Coach Umbehagen after talking to several assistant coaches and being put off for a while. And most poignantly, after walking by all the players and seeing a lot of the grime and the looks of what are you doing here, and it was somewhat unwelcoming at first. But I approached Coach Umbehagen, and he looked at me and said, what do you want? And I said, well, Coach, I talked to you about being a place kicker. He said, okay, let's see what you can do. And so I started kicking, and they came around, and I caught on. And even though the initial welcome was somewhat disobliging, I think that I stuck with it, and it's really opened a lot of doors.
Before you were selected as a participant in the youth leadership program, had you considered your involvement in these four areas outstanding or unusual?
Well, until applying for some colleges and until doing applications like the Group W application, I never really considered what I did unusual or outstanding. I started putting them down, and I noticed some things that, well, you know, it wasn't all new to me, but as I got them down, I sort of visualized that, hey, this is remarkable in some areas. And I think I've done some things that show that some people have some faith in me. Running for student body president was something that was tough. You had to get up in front of the school, and you had to speak in front of the school. And if they don't like you, they normally let you know. But it came out okay. And as student body president this year, I've learned a lot from that, and that's been something that's really influenced me. But I think that the accolades you get and what you do, it shows that what you do is outstanding. And I think as far as that goes, yes. But I don't like to consider myself like that because I just like to set goals and go for them, and then just give it my best shot. And if it's outstanding, that's great. But I think with hard work, the rewards are going to come. I think I have sort of a well-rounded view, and I think that's remarkable. And I'm glad that I've done that.
Do you find that achievement in one area enhances or influences performance in another?
Oh, definitely. That's really my whole attitude toward extracurricular and involvement. I think that you know, as you work in academics, it's going to help you in all walks of life. In college, I plan to take some courses that expand me personally: history, philosophy, and other humanities. I think that there's many examples of what I'm involved in today that sort of complement each other. I took debate my first 2 years of high school, and I learned how to write speeches. I learned how to organize and research, and that helped me in student council. You have to write speeches, you have to organize. That helped me in academics too, and it's a give and take situation. In student council, we did Share Your Christmas, and it was a project that involved over 100 volunteers, thousands of dollars, and news media coverage all over Houston. Now, 100 volunteers at Ball High is sometimes hard to recruit, but I felt that I had a good system to recruit that. It wasn't just me, it was the whole student council. But I felt comfortable having the football team to go to and say, hey, this is a visual thing. Can you be there? We got some football players there. The soccer team as well. Being team captain on that team, or co-captain rather, may have given me some leeway, but I think that just that complements the other activities. And that's really my approach, and I think it works.
Based on an honest evaluation, do you feel you have made sacrifices to pursue these various interests? For example, has it been necessary to forgo some social or recreational activities?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I'll go back to football again. You get home at 7:30 during the fall, and that sort of takes away from your family situation. I have found that in this last summer is another good example. I had to go to Boys State at the beginning of the summer, and then I had a national leadership training center in Colorado in the summer, plus a state convention, and plus I was trying to visit colleges. Those sort of cut back from my personal life. I was trying to keep down a job last summer, and at some points I was in peril of losing it because of that. But I worked it out, and I think the sacrifices are worth it because I have my priorities, and I like to go for it. I like to go for things, and I decide before I go for it, what my situation is, can I handle it, and then once I get into it, I'm going to give it my best shot, and I'm gonna go for it. But the sacrifices are there, and I think you just have to have your priorities straight. Sure, you have to give up family time, you have to give up going out on Friday nights when you have a debate tournament, or you have a meeting at the Historical Foundation, or you have to go to Dickens to be a volunteer or see James Michener speak, but it's worth it.
What role does popularity play in leadership?
Popularity is significant. I think you have to look at several things. First of all, the factors that make a person popular. I think that people, well, first of all, popularity is just people liking you. And I think that people like you if you're open-minded to them, if you're supportive of them, if you give positive encouragement and encourage their good points and bring out the best in people. And so I think those are essential qualities to a leader. And of course a leader is going to be popular. Look at Ronald Reagan. He's the most popular character this nation has had in years. And so it does play a role in that, but that's human nature. And I think when you look at what makes a person popular, and you can associate that. There is some setbacks. I think looks have a lot to do with it. I think what you wear has a lot to do with it. And that's a shame. It'd be best if people could overlook racial barriers, economic barriers, and just look at the person and their ideas. And that's not always the case. But I think overall, leadership is winning the likeness of the people, and popularity plays a part in that, and that's just the status quo.
It has been said, leaders are born, not made. Do you agree or disagree with this statement, and why?
Well, I don't unequivocally agree or disagree with it. I think that, sure, you have an inherent quality in you that says, I'm going to achieve, I'm going to step in front of the pack. But then again, you can't just have that quality without cultivating it. And, I think some of the ways of cultivating that are hard work and discipline and understanding. So it's a combination of the two. I think you look at some of the great leaders of this country, John F. Kennedy. He had a background that shows that he was a hustler. His father came from Ireland, and he worked, and he achieved in this country. But then again, John Kennedy had the best schooling. He went to Harvard, and it's a combination of the two. So you're not going to be a great leader without either one of the qualities.
Whom do you consider to have been most influential in your life, and what effect has that person had on you?
That's a question that has raised some dissension at my house. My father, I would say, has had the most influence on me. And I don't want to take away from my mother. It's just a different situation. Both my parents are incredibly influential on me, and they work as a team. But I'm picking out my father just because I think we developed a close bond when we were younger. And there's a number of ways he has influenced me. First of all, I think he's a humanitarian. He understands, and he reaches out, and he tries to seek out the truth in things, and then apply that. And also, he has some personal qualities that are just really appealing. I like sitting down and talking with him. I like his competitiveness, the way he gets bothered when he settles for second best. And I think that's spread to me a great deal. It's good and bad to be disturbed about losing. I think that sometimes it can upset you too much. But then again, I think that the competitive spirit is essential to achieving, and he's definitely given that to me. Furthermore, I can't stress enough that the personal company and the encouragement, and that is essential to achieving, and that's having someone there to talk to and having someone there to encourage you. And so it's been remarkable, and I think it's influenced me tremendously. And if you knew my dad, I think that would be even more prevalent.
Thank you, Jay.